Okay, in this lesson here, what we're going to do is look at some more commands that I guess you could say kind of fall into a miscellaneous category, but we're going to use them often. Okay, I mean, especially the first one that we're going to look at, which is open. And then there's another one that is players only, which is absolutely awesome and fantastic for testing a lot of things. And then from there, we'll move into several other things. But again, these commands can all kind of be grouped into a miscellaneous section. But we felt like we'd go ahead and show them to you now as opposed to waiting to the very end, because some of these will become useful as we progress through some of the later lessons. So, Logan, let's go ahead and start out with the open command.
Okay, well, of course it would be useful to, while you're in one level, be able to jump around to different levels, however you want. So
just the ability to open up a new level, basically.
Right. So if we did open, say, DM Flux 2.
Which is the name of a valid map that's out there. And there it is.
There we go. And if you type the name correctly, it'll simply tell you as opposed to attempting to load anything.
Right.
So if we loaded Flux 22, cannot find file DM Flux 22.
Exactly. And now the .ut2 does not have to be on the end. You can put it there if you'd like.
Right, but that's set up in the main ini files, just so that the engine is aware of where its packages, including levels, are. So simply typing the name of a valid level without the .ut2 will still work just fine.
Right. Okay, now what's really cool is this open command can be used a little bit more interestingly than just simply opening a level like that. And here's how we'll show you. Logan, go ahead and open up a Capture the Flag map.
Good old Phase 3.
So we've been, just a minute ago, we were in two different deathmatch maps.
Right.
Now we're going into a Capture the Flag map. And here it comes. It's coming.
Now, if I check the HUD, well, this is the HUD for a Capture the Flag map. We have the red and blue teams.
You got two teams, right.
So if we were to spawn in, then we're going to be playing the game as a Capture the Flag.
That's right. So this gets us into a quick discussion about game types. And game types are just basically a set of rules that define how the game's going to be played, by what rules, how points are going to be distributed, et cetera, right?
Right.
I mean, obviously with Capture the Flag, there's a big difference from Capture the Flag and Deathmatch, where Deathmatch, everybody's just running around trying to slaughter one another, while in Capture the Flag, the objective is it's team-based, you're capturing flags and returning them back and forth, et cetera, et cetera. So a very big difference. But you can use the open command to actually force a map to be a different game type. So let's go ahead and reopen this same Capture the Flag map, but let's go ahead and force it to be a deathmatch game.
So I'm going to need to specify a property for the way this map loads. I'll do that by, as soon as I've typed up the map name, I'll add a question mark, and then what I'll set is game. And what I'll set it to, or game equals, xgame.x deathmatch.
So basically, you're having to specify the package dot and then the class, which that class really is the game type itself.
That's right. So, see if we can load up Phase 3 as a deathmatch instead of.
Once we get it up, we'll just simply see if we have teams or if it's a free for all.
Hey, check that out.
So now when he looks at the HUD, we no longer have a red team and a blue team. Now the more people that join in, whoa, which just happened. Now everybody's running around just trying to simply kill one another. It's no longer about flags and all. But it is the same map, okay? So that's very cool.
And this is very handy if you were testing a map that, say, didn't have the prefix or didn't have a default game type set up in its level properties, and you really wanted to test it as a certain game type.
And you could do it with no problem. Okay, and open can be used for something else as well, and that's if you want to jump out to other servers over the Internet and join into games there.
Right. Simply typing open and then the IP or address of the server.
Just giving it a URL or an IP address, and that'll do the trick.
Right. As a matter of fact, I use that a lot just in gameplay. Load the game up, and if I remember the URL to a server, I'll just type open and type it in.
Okay, very cool.
And let's see, I'm going to go back to DM Gale just for the rest of testing this level.
Just because it's nice, simple, and small. Okay, so that pretty much does it for the open command. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at a command called players only. And this command rocks. And not to mention, it's a lot of fun to play with.
Right. As a matter of fact, for once, I'm actually going to leave the bot in the level for just a moment. So we've got Steam, we've got projectiles, we've got the bot running around the level. Well, what happens if I wanted to freeze everything? Just almost like pausing the game.
Like freezing time except for you.
Except I can still run around. That's what the players only command is for. Players only. And check it out.
That's awesome.
A dying lightning beam still in midair. So now, of course I can't fire because my gun is frozen as well, but now I can walk around the level. Particles are frozen. The bot's frozen. Of course, well, a bot's not a player. It's AI controlled. So we can look at the bot, close up, see any kind of projectile, any kind of effect.
So if you were testing a new weapon, this could be very handy.
Right, because if you were testing, like in this case, a projectile effect or a projectile itself, if you wanted to freeze like a pulse rifle bullet in midair, you could do that. As a matter of fact, it's really handy to bind the players only command to a key to give you much quicker access to it. So to do that real quick, I would just do set input. That's a P.
Good old P key.
Players only. So now players only is a toggle. So if I hit it, time will go back to working, or I can pause time again, turn it back off. Now I think I will kill the bot. We're done with the bot. It served its purpose. Kill bots, plural. Yeah. All right, so let's say we wanted to freeze a grenade in midair. So now that I've got the P key bound, I can simply fire, pause. And that's where it becomes really helpful to have it bound. Otherwise, you wouldn't have time to fire something, then drop the console and start typing a command.
Right.
But there we go. Now we can take a look at anything we want to in midair. Unpause, bounce, repause. So, really fun to play with.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I guess that pretty much does it for players only, but it's a very, very powerful command. All right, so the next thing we'll take a look at is slow-mo.
Okay, let me unpause the game for this first. Now, being able to completely freeze time is nice, but what if we wanted to adjust time, adjust the speed of time? Well, we could do that with the slow-mo command. Let's slow time down to half, so I'll feed it 0.5. Of course, 1 being the default speed, or 100%. So 0.5 should be 50% speed.
So now the grenade fires much slower.
Yeah, everything goes slow, including the player you're controlling.
Right.
Crank this all the way down to 0.1.
It is slow.
So if you need to test effects you have as projectiles hit and bounce, or anything that you need to take a really close look at, slow-mo can be really cool. But then, of course, you can also speed time up. So we could go to maybe 1.5, so 150%. So now the player runs a lot faster, projectiles run fast. And, of course, you can crank this up to something crazy like 4.
So for those of you guys that complain that Unreal Tournament is just too slow of a game, here you go. Problem solved.
Or if you have a 3-mile-wide map and you decide you really need to be on the other side
now
of it.
throw in like 3 bots or something.
Oh, this is going to be crazy.
It would be insane to watch.
We'll get to that later. I mean, that wouldn't exactly help the encoding here if we had the screen changing every half a second.
They really wouldn't see much exactly. It would be funny, though. Definitely insane.